To my don't fuck this up argument, this belongs. Engaging in this can have a profound impact on your life. We have never been presented with a larger macro trend than this. For the smallest amount of time ever recorded, it has performed better than any asset. The best part is that it keeps on giving. Whenever it has an 80% decline, everyone writes it off. It has returned to all-time highs 18 months later, making everyone appear foolish. Therefore, you should not mess that up. And the traditional method is utilizing leverage. An asset class like this can experience insane price increases. Suddenly, that still small voice within your skull says, you know what, 5 or 10 times levered was all I got. I may earn 10 times more money. Who are you? A monkey. In a year, it increases by 100, 200, or 300%. Leverage is not necessary. The market capitalization of Bitcoin, the most valuable cryptocurrency in the world, surged to $69,950, a new record. Prices swiftly retreated, falling to approximately $62,185 by 4p, thus the increase was brief. Speculation on social media site 10 suggests that a Bitcoin whale was involved in the price decline. When Bitcoin prices peaked on Tuesday, this gigantic whale sold almost 1,000 Satoshi. The whale reportedly paid less than 50 cents for each coin in 2010, but they were sold on Tuesday for more than $63 million. On top of that, according to statistics from CoinGlass, over $1 billion worth of leveraged derivative contracts were liquidated across all digital assets as Bitcoin hit a new all-time high before falling to as low as $159,700 owing to further sales. Much of the $877 million that was liquidated belonged to long positions, which were wagers on the appreciation of assets. Renowned macro analyst and ex-Goldman Sachs executive Raoul recently addressed the drop and the enormous $1.1 billion liquidations caused by leveraged investors in a video posted to the Real Vision YouTube channel. This incident highlights one of two possible outcomes according to Powell. There will be fantastic possibilities for Bitcoin investors in the years 2024 and beyond, either that or they will pass them up. You must consider the cryptocurrency market to be the most absurd venture you have ever undertaken. There are a lot of people who hate you just because you're involved. A lot of foolish people. The best means, the highest volatility, the biggest drawdowns, and the highest gains. All of a sudden, it feels like the volume is cranked up to 11. Everyone gets incredibly giddy about Bitcoin's new all-time high, therefore it's the most perfect thing in the world. Everyone thinks, oh, we're poor again now after it prints the new all-time high and does a major reversal. Another interesting aspect of cryptocurrency is how ordinary individuals may easily get leverage, which is not the case in traditional markets. Thus, individuals persist in engaging in leverage in a 70-vol asset despite repeated warnings, admonitions, and pleadings. So what occurs is that everyone gains confidence, and even a tiny position can lead to bigger things. After that, a change occurs. You feel as though you are being dissolved one by one. We sold off in the span of half an hour, 1.5 billion Bitcoin liquidations. We are back on the move as the market resets. You could say it's more like a video game. It's just absurd. You are aware that I am not involved in this type of trading. That is to say, I had just invested in all of my cryptocurrency, 2022 November and December. I can't remember making a purchase since January 2023. And I've only recently adjusted my asset allocation. The idea is to completely dominate your spot for the duration of the cycle and then do absolutely nothing. And that is basically all there is to it. Ignoring your existence is rewarded monetarily. Most of the things Solana offered were 10 times more expensive last year. With a 160% increase, Bitcoin was looking very good. So far this year, everything is up 50%. Nothing is required of you. There is absolutely no obligation on your part. Think about it this way, Bitcoin is entering its price discovery period and most other cryptocurrencies will follow suit. Then we'll all reach new all-time highs in the quality assets. The bad stuff won't pass. However, the quality assets reach record highs. Their maximum altitude is unknown to you. The typical range is 3 to 10 times the previous record high. There is still a lot of room for growth from here, even when you're at your peak. You know, things could become interesting towards the end of 2024 if we don't hit the business cycle low point, which usually happens in late 2025 or early 2026. In any case, your drawdown will be bigger at that point. You can expect 35% liquidations, but at the very least, you should be able to expect a 100% rally moving forward. Depending on the asset you select, the best case scenario might be anything. As a result, taking a chance always pays off. If you're not actively participating in an asset's price movement, you probably don't hold as much of it. You therefore have a smaller stake in it, and when there's liquidation, like today, that's a fantastic day to invest. Am I seeing today's low point? No one has a clue. Do you think it has a chance to drop next week? I am uncertain. If it occurs though, consider it a blessing. I don't consider it a gift because I am out of crypto funds. I guess it's time for me to watch it. However, that is precisely their function. Therefore, you should not be afraid of them. Everyone hates buying something only to have it crash 10, 15, or 20% before a rally. So if you have a thesis and know that the market is going to rise eventually, you can use sell-offs to your advantage to get slightly better entries when the market is less frothy. There's always that one thing that makes you feel sick to your stomach. It's always good if you can buy anything that's people are selling their holdings because they got too excited, but there's no actual justification for the sale. Now would be a good moment to quit adding to it and worrying about missing out, because today was a perfect example of FOMO, wasn't it? I think most people would agree that it's always broken. A cryptographic no-go. You are going to appear foolish if you do this. Once again, all you need is a strategy. Keep going. Avoid using leverage. Make sure you're using the correct time horizon, unless you're Tony level skilled at trading. Within that time frame, refrain from touching it. Invest once and put it in a safe place. Check out our pre-haven location. That will occur in April, when the payout for Bitcoin miners will decrease by 50%. My guess is that we're in better shape now than we were during the last one, which was 4 years ago. Of course, exchange-traded funds weren't around when we needed them. Derivative volume and other metrics show that it was in its infancy 4 years ago. Presently at an extremely high level. Just now we broke a record. Additionally, I was shocked by the ETF flows. They seemed like they would take off fast, but I was suspicious. We have over 50 billion bucks at this point. These ETFs have a total of around 740,000 Bitcoin. Payments ranging from $150 million to $500 million are arriving every day. As a result, Bitcoin is currently being propelled upwards by a number of favorable forces. Also, this is prior to the event, which typically occurs after the fact, when the value of Bitcoin begins to surge, which may be anywhere from 2020 onwards. Bitcoin received hardly any attention from institutions. The phenomena was fueled by retail sales on a global scale. Right now, I'd say that a lot of big money is keeping tabs on it. That's also the reason why derivatives are so popular. I believe that Bitcoin's volatility is a major draw for many institutional investors. And you must realize that, among all the globally traded assets I'm aware of, the demand for Bitcoin is based entirely on mood. There isn't a Bitcoin corporation, profit ratios based on the price of Bitcoin do not exist. This token is merely sentiment-driven. Regarding that, one thing is certain: feeling knows no bounds. Optimism is always an option. To that end, this upswing might be the largest so far. From where we are now, before Bitcoin's adoption, looking at historical patterns would lead one to believe, and I'm not making any predictions here, that Bitcoin could reach over $300,000 during the next bull market's peak. And because every token is linked to Bitcoin, it follows that Ethereum, Solana, and a few others will also rise in value at the same rate. On the other hand, those tend to go in the same upward direction. They tend to rise to a greater extent, nevertheless, due to their smaller market cap.